Hello. So, not only is this the first time I'm in front of the camera, it's a video that I don't enjoy making. It's about the bike. Obviously, you've seen the thumbnail. It's broken. It's not working. So a bit of a story behind it. It was given a cold start issue. Sorry, I'll go right back to the last 8,000 mile review, which showed some of the modifications the bike had. So it has the Moto Guzzi V85Tt pipe. It has the storm muffler with the what do you call it? The baffle removed out of it. It has the up map, the Moto T800 module with the up map that's appropriate for the current exhaust setup. It has a K&N free flow filter in it, and it has the EVAP system removed as well. That was all done end of last June, beginning of July. Bike ran absolutely superbly right up to Christmas. Ran lovely. You could actually feel the extra wheel horsepower that you were getting. Up map, say that's between I think 6 to 7 wheel horsepower extra, and you noticed how much sharper it was. But anyhow, roll back to Christmas. It's colder weather here around Northern Ireland. It averages around 0 degrees most of the winter. It can dip lower, but generally we can ride most of the year, and we have done the last couple of years. Now it just clicked over to 12,000 miles there last week during the Northwest 200. If you've ever seen that road race, go and watch some Northwest 200 YouTube videos. It's very similar to the TT in its format. But anyway, back to the bike. It went round the Northwest course, no problems at all. It developed a cold start issue at around Christmas, just after Christmas, where it would, and I'll show you that in a minute whenever I turn the camera around, because it hasn't been started today, and you'll see what I mean. The bike won't start. It takes 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 attempts to get it to run. Once it runs and it gets a chance to warm up, then it runs fine. It runs really, really well. It runs as well as it was run since last July, when the map and the exhaust system was put into the bike. So I'll turn you around here and I'll show you what I mean, and I'll show you the dash and the warnings that it's getting, and I'll leave it with you, the community. Anybody that knows anything about V85s or has any kind of mechanic and background, maybe you can comment below what you think it might be. My problem now is there's no Moto Guzzi dealer. I'm right on the north coast of Northern Ireland, so if you look at a map you'll see where I'm at, and my closest dealer now is Glasgow, which that includes needing to get a boat across the Irish Sea. I think in total riding miles is about a 380 mile round trip, something like that, or 360 mile round trip I think. I looked at it the other night. So not really feasible, but I can't have this thing sitting in a shed doing nothing. So I don't know what to do. And on top of that, we have, as I mentioned in some prior videos, we have a large 16-day trip planned to Europe. This July the 11th we leave. So the clock's actually ticking, because I'm not hearing great stories of Moto Guzzi getting parts out to dealers anyway quick, and that's if it's even diagnosed. The other issue now is getting it plugged in. We don't have a dealer here in Northern Ireland, but there is motorcycle mechanics, and they may be able to pull the information from the bike's ECU, what the codes are that it's pulling. That can't happen. The closest date I can get is the 31st of May. So that's running me right. It's only giving me a month to get a part imported and get it fitted, and hopefully it fixes the problem. So with that in mind, I'll turn you around here and I'll show you the problems that I'm having. Okay, so first I'll turn on the dash and you can see the warnings. So we'll turn it on here. So you've got oil alarm sensor, and then you've got the new one, which is alarm urgent service. That came on Tuesday evening. As you can see, the hazard lights are blinking. It's it's a lot more flashy lights than it used to have. So that alarm flashing warning, or sorry, we'll go back, the oil sensor warning, that came up about a month ago, no, maybe longer, about a month and a half ago. That appeared. Asked Facebook and all the different groups I'm in, or the general census was it was either the air temperature sensor that's in the airbox or the oil temperature sensor, which is in between the V's of the motor. Most people, I think, we're leaning more towards the oil sensor, because reason being, once the bike gets going and is warmed up, it starts perfectly fine. So like, if I was to start the bike here, as you'll see in a minute when I start it, it'll be very hard to start. But once that bike's up running, and if I was to come back half an hour after I stop the bike will run again. It'll start perfectly. So that, people were thinking that could have been more the oil temperature sensor, must be given the ECU the fuel mix for whatever temperature the bike's sitting in, because the bike has been sitting in my shed in temperatures of up to 18 to 20 degrees and it still struggles to start. Like today, I think it's, well, I don't know, I haven't turned the dash on there, but I'm going to guess it's around 12 to 15 degrees today, and it's still, you'll see here now, it won't start easily. So then we have the new warning, which is the, what was it, oil urgent service warning. That then appeared on Tuesday evening after I changed all the oils. So I changed the motor oil, the drive shaft, or I changed the motor oil, and I changed the gearbox oil, and I changed the bevel drive oil. So all three oils were changed on Tuesday evening. I let it tick over on the drive. It actually started on the first go on Tuesday evening, so it was lumpy, but it kept running on its first go. And then I let it tick over for about 15 minutes to get up to temperature, checked it for any leaks. There wasn't any leaks, so I thought I'll take it for a small ride. I took it into the local town, which is 3 miles away from me. Gave it, it was up to temperature, and I got about 2 miles into the town and I dropped it down to third gear, and I gave it some beans, as we say, up to 6th gear, and it went lovely, accelerated sharp, just as good as it ever does. Rode into the town, thought I'll get off it and check for any more oil leaks. I actually turned it off, and when I turned it back on again, that's when I noticed the extra hazard lights flashing, and that drew my attention to the new warning that's on the dash. So the bike started anyway. First pushed the button, the bike started, and I thought, oh, maybe it's just wiring or something. So went to ride off, and it rode off normally, but then I very quickly noticed that the throttle was very dull. There was no real acceleration. It was very dull. Like a bike that only had like 9 horsepower. So managed to run it home, managed to ride at 50 mile an hour out home, and then that's pretty much it. The bike has sat here. No one can look at it until the end of May, and even he doesn't know whether he'll be able to read the codes, because he's not got the Moto Guzzi diagnostic tool if it's needed. He says he's got diagnostic tools, but he doesn't know if he'll have the plug that'll go into the Moto Guzzi plug. We'll find out in 2 weeks' time. But like I say, we're down to the wire here, and I don't know whether I'll actually get the bike fixed before we go away. If I'm lucky, the guy in Scotland says it might be just a sensor, or a loose wire that could have put it into limp mode. So if not, then it's probably something a bit more major, like maybe the ECU or the fuel pump or the, what was it, the throttle sensor. So, oh sorry, I forgot to mention I'm actually getting an error code with the up map, which is a throttle C sensor error, and apparently that's down on the throttle body intakes or whatever. I'm not a mechanic, so I don't know what they are, but it's down in there somewhere apparently, and that could be the other issue. So anyway, I'll turn you around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll try and start the bike, and I'll see how it goes today. I've actually not started it yet, so we'll see if it even starts in its first go. And with that, I'll let you see what happens here, and then I'll see you at whatever. If I ever get it going, or if I find out what's wrong with it, I'll put another short video up about it, and I'll keep you in the loop. All right, with that, see you then. Bye bye. So that's his first attempt. That's usually what it does. No, it's going. No, I thought it was going to run today. It's not. So this is. So this might be it. It might stay running here now. So this. Might stay running. I think it will now. So that's the way it does it. It's very hard to start, but it will actually stay running eventually. It's very, very lumpy here at the minute, but it will eventually smooth out and it'll run like normal. If I was to try and rev it now, it would probably cut out. It doesn't like being revved until it gets past this lumpy stage. They're starting to smooth out now. You can hear it starting to smooth out. Say once it gets maybe a minute and a half to 2 minutes past, then it starts smoothing out. We still have the same warnings on the dash, so we'll give it a wee rev here and see if it'll take it. Which is very, very slow. See, there's no pickup at all. It's full throttle. Very slow. Will rev, so if I hold it you'll hear it rev out, but it reaches a limiter. Seems to be about a 4,500 rev limiter set on it. So I turn it off here now. Turn it back on. Fine. Turn it off with the key and let it shut all the way down. Turn it back on. So there you go, folks. Has anybody got any ideas?